You don't need more discipline. You need more self-love. If you've constantly tried to push yourself to be disciplined, did your hardest, worked super hard, but you always end up disappointing yourself, then you might have a self-love issue. Discipline is like the engine that runs your car, and self-love is the fuel. Without discipline, you can't keep moving towards your goals and your desires. But without self-love, your engine will inevitably burn out, stop working, and you won't be able to make any progress. That's why it's so important to mix discipline and self-love together, so your habits start becoming so much easier to do. They feel natural, and it doesn't feel forced anymore. It feels like an act of care. In this video, I'll be going over what the actual secret golden nugget is to mastering your discipline and how you can start building self-love from the ground up, step by step in detail, super specific. Everything is outlined in this video. Now, the secret that I want to tell you that'll completely transform the way you view discipline and is a total game changer, because this is like the hidden key to unlocking it, is that discipline is not a willpower issue. It's not about how much willpower you have. It's an identity issue, the way you view yourself. I want to explain to you that the core reality creation process, the core process for you getting things done and working on your reality and getting to your goals, it all starts with your thoughts. Your thoughts create your feelings in your body, and those feelings create actions, and that action creates your reality, which in turn reaffirms your thoughts and your beliefs. If you see yourself with a negative outlook, if you feel like you're lazy, you're a failure, you're not good enough, you're just a person that's not worthy and just a waste of space, if you see yourself that way, your mind is going to want to confirm that, because our minds really attach themselves to our sense of identity. And what you believe about yourself will create thoughts in your mind, and those thoughts will create feelings of anxiety, of depression, of insecurity within you, which leads you to take action that reflects those thoughts. You'll self-sabotage. You'll disappoint yourself again. You'll do all of these negative things, which you beat yourself over up again. And then you start having negative thoughts, you start having negative feelings, and again, the cycle continues and repeats. So if you want to break out of that cycle of trying to discipline yourself but feeling disappointed and guilty, this is how you do it. You have to change the way you view yourself. It's so important. Change the way you view yourself, and you'll start acting that way. If you view yourself as an athlete, as someone that's super active, you will naturally be compelled to eat healthy, naturally be compelled to get up and go to the gym. Because for an athlete, think about it. For them, it's super natural and like automatic for them to just work out every single day, eat healthy every single day, because they're an athlete and that's what they always do. So for them, it's not a willpower problem. Their mind just makes them do that habit automatically. But for you, you probably view yourself, if you do view yourself as a lazy couch potato, you are going to have the need to just harness up so much willpower and mentally prepare yourself to go get up, get ready to the gym. But it shouldn't be that way. It should be natural for you. Otherwise, you're constantly going to be battling your own mind, and you're going to constantly be self-sabotaging. So trust me when I say this. Focus on changing your identity and the way you view yourself, so it becomes natural, a natural part of you to go do that action, go be disciplined, go do that habit. No one talks about this. Almost no one talks about this online, but it's one of the most important things that you have to understand and implement in order to get to that goal you want, in order to be consistent and discipline yourself. This took me so long to figure out. I was in the process of trying to always discipline myself in order to get work done, because I would be a huge procrastinator and I would never want to do work. I would always pick up my phone and scroll instead of doing the important tasks that I had to do. And even though I was super passionate about my desire and my goal, I found it so hard to just sit down and work on it for like hours. And I couldn't figure out why it was so hard. I would try to force myself to go do it, but then I would get distracted midway and start scrolling on my phone or browsing the internet. And then I would just beat myself up over it. I would feel so insecure and guilty and disappointed in myself and regret it a lot. And all of those negative feelings would again make me feel anxious about going up and doing the work and getting things done and being satisfied. I knew that it was good for me, but I couldn't do it. My willpower wasn't strong enough. But when I changed my identity, when I changed the way I viewed myself, from someone who was just a regular person who's kind of lazy and undisciplined, when I changed my identity to someone that was a successful person that got their things done, other people looked up to them, I started to believe those positive things about myself. That led me to finishing my work super, super easily. I was able to be disciplined. I was able to get things done because of that one identity shift. And this took me years to figure out, and I'll be outlining how exactly you can do that in this video, because what is a positive identity? If you view yourself positively, if you love yourself, that's all a positive identity is. A positive identity is basically one where you view yourself with empowering beliefs that you are successful, that you are good enough, that you are healthy, whatever beliefs that you need to have in order to be the person that already has that goal of yours. I'll explain more about that in a second. So your positive identity is basically a reflection of how much self-love you have. And now I'll be getting into how exactly you can build that self-love. Here's how you can build self-love, aka create a positive identity for yourself. And first of all, before I get into that, I want to mention that this is a process. Self-love isn't something that you can immediately step into, immediately build if all your life, over the years, you've been constantly degrading yourself, telling yourself you're not worth it, telling yourself you're ugly and awful and you're stupid. If you've been telling yourself those things for so many years, months, to change your identity and change the way you think to a more positive one, you need to be consistent, and it will happen over time. It won't be instant, but you will get there. I promise you, you will get there if you are consistent with it. Because think about it this way. You're a gardener and you're planting seeds in the garden of your mind. You've been constantly watering the negative weeds in your garden, and they're getting stronger and they're getting bigger, and they are overpowering your garden in your mind. And the negative ones are the ones that are thriving and flourishing. But now let's say that you want to change. You want to plant new positive beliefs so you can create a positive identity, love yourself more, treat yourself more kindly, and truly cherish yourself. So you start to plant flowers. Those negative weeds are still going to be there. They're still going to be there, but this time you're going to only focus on watering the positive new thoughts, the new positive beliefs. And over time, once you keep watering these positive beliefs, these positive flowers, they're going to bloom and they're going to get bigger, and those negative thoughts will wither away. Those negative weeds will wither away. You can't instantly get rid of those negative weeds. They are still going to be in your mental garden. They will still bother you sometimes because they're still there and they're really big. They will bother you. You'll get sucked back into negative thoughts again about yourself and feel disappointment. But I want to tell you to, first of all, focus all of your intention on growing your positive new flowers. And then naturally, when you focus on growing those flowers, you will start to wither away those weeds. It will take time. It's a process, but it is so worth it because time will pass anyway. Why not you do something that's good for your identity? You can either keep staying in your negative old mindset, hate yourself and feel ashamed of yourself, or you can choose to build love and start to treat yourself well. The time will pass anyway. You can start right now, and then you can start blooming those flowers eventually. Yes, so that's the first thing that I wanted to mention before we get into it. Now let's get into step one. Step one is to, first of all, acknowledge and accept the negative insecurities that you have about yourself. The paradox of transformation is that if you want to be confident, if you want to love yourself, you need to also embrace your insecurities and be okay with them. A confident person isn't someone that has no insecurities. A confident person is someone that has insecurities but chooses to be confident anyway. A person that loves themselves has things that they hate about themselves, has things that they're insecure about and ashamed of, but they choose to love themselves anyway despite those negative, shameful things. That's the paradox of transformation. In order to truly love yourself, you have to be comfortable and okay feeling insecurities. You should try to not avoid them, but instead let them come out, feel them in your body, acknowledge them, accept them. Okay, I know I feel shame right now. I feel shame about myself. Breathe into it, feel it in your body, and that's how you can let it go. I want you to think of your negative thoughts, your negative insecurities, and things you're ashamed of as little kids. These little kids will keep pestering you over and over and over again until you come over, give them a hug, ruffle their head a bit, acknowledge them, and then they will go away in peace. And then you can focus on cultivating self-love. The more you resist something, the more it comes up. If you're trying to love yourself and create self-love, you can't try to suppress negative thoughts of insecurity and shame, because all of those, you will eventually bottle them up and they will burst. Here's an example to really illustrate how this works. So let's say you're trying to be consistent to the gym. Someone's trying to show up to the gym every single day, and that's her goal because she wants to lose weight and she wants to feel healthy and attractive in her body. And being attractive is something that's really important to her. But her secret underlying insecurity is that she's terrified of being ugly, because ugliness equals unworthiness, and it means that her life is worthless. No one's going to like her ever because she's ugly, and no one's going to desire her. She'll end up alone and die alone. And this insecurity of hers is not something she should suppress. Let's say she goes out into the world, tries to work out, but one day she looks at herself in the mirror, sees no progress, and she starts to spiral. All those negative thoughts come up. I'm ugly, I'm so overweight, I'm not good enough, no one's gonna ever like me again. All those negative thoughts come up and they're scaring her. She's terrified of these negative thoughts, so she suppresses them. And once she does that, what's gonna happen is that she is going to self-sabotage herself from going to the gym. The next time she wants to go to the gym, she's going to find it extremely difficult because she's afraid, she's more anxious now, and she doesn't truly love herself, and she's scared of the negative thoughts that come up, so she chooses to just sit at home, scroll on her phone, do something else to comfort her. Your lack of discipline comes from you, honestly, not having enough self-love and you suppressing your negative emotions. When you love yourself, you will naturally do things that will create positive outcomes in your life. You will find it so much easier to do the hard task that you know is good for you because you love and respect yourself. So first of all, what I would tell that woman that's going to the gym, I would tell her to, instead of being afraid of her negative thoughts of, I'm not good enough, I'm ugly, I want her to sit in a safe place, and you could do this too. Sit in a safe place, breathe for a bit, let those emotions come out, those negative insecurities come out. Feel them in your body, breathe. Don't try to change anything, don't try to resist, don't try to analyze. Just let it be what it is. No suppressing, just allow it to flow. Allow it to flow through you. Don't try to put a label on it, nothing. Because the truth is, in our world, life is messy. We have negative, toxic circumstances. We have positive, incredible blessings. And our world is just filled with evil, negative, bad, horrible stuff, as well as good, amazing, kind, positive, loving stuff. And the truth is, you need to learn how to love everything. Love the positive and the negative. Because God wouldn't have created negative things if God didn't love those things as well. God wouldn't have created ugliness if God didn't love it. God wouldn't have created beauty if God didn't love it. God wouldn't have created hate and insecurity and shame if God didn't love it. So God loves everything. God loves the parts of you that are ugly, that you're afraid of, that's scared, that's insecure. God loves it. And when you start to look at those negative, ugly parts of yourself that you might be ashamed of, like the feelings of shame and insecurity, and you start to accept them and love them for what they are, you can let go of them and find it so much easier to focus on growing the more positive flowers. Think of it this way. Those negative emotions are just little kids that want your attention and your acknowledgement. When you hug those kids, make them feel included in your broad spectrum of emotions instead of only focusing on the positive. You can make them feel satisfied and then they'll go away. And then you can continue to choose the new positive identity. And this is really important. You have to choose the new identity after accepting that negative one, okay? You can't just wallow in that negative thought like, okay, everything's hopeless anyway, I'm ugly, I'm stupid, I can't do anything, and just stay there, because that's not the goal. We're trying to create a new positive identity that you love and build your self-love. So the way to do it is to literally be accepting of the negative one, but choose the positive instead. So this part is so important. Being able to accept and acknowledge your negative parts, your negative identity, and then choose your positive identity instead while being okay with the negative. Because we're not going to resist. Resistance creates more tension, and what you resist will persist. Step number 2, create a new positive character that you would love to embody that reflects your positive identity. So write down a clear, detailed description of who the person is, of a character that you would love to become. So think of a fictional character or think of people in your real life that you admire a lot and start writing down what is it that makes them so inspiring and amazing. Because we are going to start building you up like this person, and that's how you will achieve self-love. This is the secret to self-love. Create a life where you will love being you. I met 2 people in my life that inspired me so much and just changed me so much from just being around them. And these 2 people, honestly, I admire them a lot because of their radiance, their femininity, and the way they just expressed themselves, thought about the world, and just lived their life. They were like 2 characters out of a fictional book, and just watching them just made me so mesmerized because their life was just so incredible, and they themselves were like a character, like the main character, and it was so amazing. So what I did was that I figured out, okay, these 2 people are inspiring me a lot, so what can I do to also love myself? Since I found out what I admired, I did things that they also did, which made me admire myself. And one thing which they really did was that they were super duper feminine. And what they would do is that they would decorate their house in like a really pretty colors. They would focus on romanticizing their life, taking it slow. They would have all of these cute little decorations around their house, like little stuffed animals. They would prioritize taking care of their appearance. And I did all of those things in my own life. I started putting them into my own life as habits. And that made me love myself so much. And now I feel like I'm a character in my own story, and I just love my life, I love myself, and it just feels so good. But it wasn't always this way. I also was very deep into self-loathing and very deep into just feeling shame most of my life. But as the years went by, as I started to learn about reality creation, manifestation, and changing my habits and my identity, my life started to completely transform. So if you want to learn more in depth about that, on how you can change your mindset and your habits and your actions to align with the person that you want to be, and in turn manifest your desired reality, click the first link in the description box below to learn more. Let's get back into the video. And I want you now to romanticize your life and feel like you're a character in a book, because probably right now you're burning yourself out, you feel normal, you feel mundane, and you find it easier for you to go do bad habits and stop doing the good habits that would bring you to the life you want. And the solution is to first of all find joy and excitement in being who you are right now. Because this is how you create self-love. You create self-love by creating a life where you love being you. Think about TV shows or books that you read. Are you really inspired by the princess type of person, the outdoor adventurer type of person? What kind of person do you want to be? What kind of life do you want to live? What kind of person would you admire so much and love being? Maybe there's a celebrity that inspires the crap out of you. What do they do? What do they do? You start doing those things. You start to become someone like that person. We're not copying that person like 100%. We're adding your own twist to it. Figure out what it is that you admire, what it is that you like, and what it is that makes you feel so happy and good about that when you see other people, and then do those things and give those things to yourself. Do you admire certain people because of their kindness? Practice being kind. Practice going around being kind to people, giving people gifts, petting animals, anything. Romanticize your life. And when you start to be more kind to other people, you will also start to love yourself for the person that you are and becoming. Maybe you would really love to become an outdoor adventurer type of person. Start getting up and going outdoors, spending time in nature, exploring different forests, exploring different trails. Because that's what's going to make you feel like you're the main character of your own story, the main character of your own life. Start doing that. And another thing you could do right now is to think to yourself, if there's like a habit and goal that you're disciplined right now for, and there's something that you want to achieve and a desire you want to achieve, you could also figure out and write down a detailed description of who the person is that has this desire already, and then you can start to become that person. So write down in detail, what are the qualities of the person that has an amazing life that you would love to live, and what are they like, how are they living, how do they talk, how do they walk, what do they do day to day, what are their habits? And start to put those in your routine. Maybe you really admire the goth aesthetic. Start buying more goth clothes. Start wearing them. If that's what makes you feel good like the main character, do that. Self-love comes from creating a life that you love to be in. And when you love being you, I've said this so many times, but this is so important. So figure out who is the person you want to become. Write that down. Write down what the person is like that has the life that you want, and then start to slowly be them. And now let's get into step number 3. You are going to act as if you already are that person. So in the beginning, we talked about how it's so important to have a positive identity so you can start to be more disciplined naturally. And this is how you do it. You need to pretend that you already are that person so you can rewire your beliefs and your mind to eventually, over time, change and see that as your base normal identity, which will lead you to naturally being disciplined and doing the habits that you want to do. So you figured out what kind of person that you would love to be. You are going to act like that person. You are going to act as if day to day through your life that you are that person. You're going to feel like you are already them. You're going to think thoughts that they would automatically think. And when you get to the point where 80% of your day-to-day life, you feel like you are already this person and you're thinking like them and you're acting like them naturally, that's when you are going to naturally be able to be so consistent, disciplined, and crush your goals and desires. And when you are acting like you already are this person, it's going to start changing the neural pathways in your brain. Remember what I told you before. An athlete finds it natural to get up and go to the gym and eat healthy every single day. And when you view yourself like you're already this person who's living the life you want, has the desires that you want, you, over time, will naturally do those actions which will lead to the desires that you have in your reality. Thoughts, feelings, actions, reality. And let's take an example of a top student. So imagine that your ideal identity, the person you would love to become, is someone that gets good grades, gets recognition from other people respect them, and they get super good grades, and they're going to the best colleges in their entire country. They have so many awards, so many scholarships. That's the person that you want to be, and that's the person who you would love to be. Genuinely. Make sure you genuinely want to be that person, and not because society is telling you you should be them, and not because you think that's who you should be. Because self-love comes from you authentically being someone who you truly, truly, truly find joy in being. Not because you think that's what's going to make you popular, you think that's what's going to make you successful, but it's because you actually love being them, and you actually love the life that they would have. So let's say you genuinely want to be a top student and get into the best colleges. What you would do is that you would start to act like you are already that person and feel like you already are the top student that got into every single college that they're desiring to go into. You would feel good. You would feel smart. You would feel intelligent, successful, proud. You would feel these emotions throughout your body. And now what you're going to do is that when you feel those emotions in your body, when you feel that way, you're going to do that habit of studying. You're going to act like what they would do. So they would obviously study. So you would go and study. And eventually, once you start to feel this emotion and visualize, also, you could also visualize what your life would look like if you were this person already. Once you start doing that, over time, this is so important, over time, if you keep doing that, you will be sowing new positive seeds in your garden. This is how you do it. This is how you sow and water new positive seeds. It's not a one-time thing. You can't just feel for like 5 minutes a month. You can't just like sit down and feel for 5 minutes a month that you're a top student, but then 90% of your day, you're just insecure, you're feeling stupid, you feel negative. That's not what's going to lead to you growing new seeds. Remember, every single day, do your best to feel like you're already this person, visualize and act as if you were already this person. You can also take certain actions, like maybe that top student that you've written down about, like maybe that person, they always go to bed early. You could start doing that habit and start going to bed every single day super early. And here's another thing. Maybe the person that you truly want to become, maybe this person is someone that's successful and a rich CEO. What you could do is that you pretend that you already are this rich CEO and you start doing things that they would do. Maybe this rich CEO, they always wear super high quality luxury suits. That's how you know that they would dress. And that's what I'm telling you to do now. Even though you might not have the money, you might not have any of those things, start to focus on dressing very classy. You can buy a secondhand suit if you want, if you can't afford it right now. And then you could just pretend that it's a very luxury handmade suit and just go around wearing that. And that's going to make you feel like you already are this person, which is going to rewire your beliefs, which will change your feelings and your actions and your reality. So another thing that you should keep in mind is to just have fun with it. Have fun with doing the habits in your life. Pretend that while you're studying for that test, while you're trying to discipline yourself into doing that habit of studying, pretend that you're a scholar in the old 19th, 18th century, and you're studying and like writing down a very important document that'll change medical history forever. Or maybe you always feel so lazy going for a run in the morning, but you're trying to discipline yourself to do that. Pretend that you're like a track star running in the Olympics or something. Have fun with it. Create habits in your life that make you love being you and create a life that you love being you. And burnout is not acceptable, okay? You cannot overwork yourself to the point of burnout because that's not fun. That's not going to make you feel happy. Just act and create a character that you will embody, that you love being, and also romanticize your life in turn as well. Like, do the hobbies that younger you, little kid you, did in their life. If that's what makes you happy, if that's what makes you feel so alive and love being you, do those things. If you love cooking, go do that. If you love the idea of being someone that dances, is a professional dancer, start dancing every single day. Start small, do a habit, and be consistent with it. Like literally, once you write down that clear list of the person that you want to be, choose one habit right now and start implementing that into your life and do it every single day. Maybe it would be cooking for 30 minutes a day or cooking a nice dish. Maybe it would be going on a walk for 30 minutes a day because you're an outdoor adventurer that explores ruins and ancient temples. Do one small habit that character would do and pretend that you are already them while you're doing that habit and while you're moving through your life. Because you can either feel bored with your life, unsatisfied, and depressed about the person that you are, or you can put in the effort to romanticize it and love yourself and love the life you're creating, which will lead to amazing results. So start adding these habits to romanticize your life and make life more fun and keep you happy and make you love yourself, because self-love is the fuel that's going to be driving that car. And anyways, if you have more fun with it, you are going to be more successful anyway. You are going to be more successful than that person who just put their head down, was depressed with life, and stressed out about disciplining themselves to do their habits. Because you can be happy, you can have fun, and also achieve whatever you want in life, and also be consistent with whatever you want in life. You don't have to suffer. You don't have to constantly struggle with your willpower and suffer and feel guilt and disappointment. And the last thing that I want to mention is that we are human. Sometimes we succumb to bad habits. Sometimes we disappoint ourselves. Maybe you weren't consistent with that habit when you told yourself you would be. Maybe you did that bad habit when you told yourself you wouldn't do it. And over my years of disciplining myself, over the years where I struggled with discipline, I mastered discipline, I'm here to tell you that the one thing you should do when you feel that way is to not let it consume and overwhelm you, because that's going to feed into the negative cycle again. That's going to feed into the negative cycle of you feeling stressed and disappointed about you not doing that habit, and then it's going to loop into you feeling super stressed and anxious, so you don't do that habit anymore, and you're going to procrastinate. So if you mess up during this journey, on this journey, and you did something that you disappointed yourself with and you feel ashamed, it's okay. Just brush it off. Don't feel ashamed of yourself. Don't feel guilty. Just brush it off, let it go, and be like, okay, whatever. Have that mindset when you're disciplining yourself. Just brush it off. Let go of it. Be like, okay, whatever. Yeah, I scroll on my phone. Whatever. It's not that bad. I'll just get back into it. Do not stress yourself out when you do fall off. Have the goal that you want to be disciplined, but don't stress yourself out and don't beat yourself up when you sometimes fall short, because it's inevitable and it's okay. Thank you for watching. Bye.